Let's talk about the HVA system. It's kind of the unsung hero of your house, right? It just works silently in the background until one day it doesn't. And when it fails, oh man, it's not just a hassle, it's suddenly this high stress, high cost decision you have to make. So in this explainer, we're going to arm you with the knowledge to turn that panic into a clear plan, helping you save money, protect your investment, and, literally breathe easier.
First up, we're going to tackle that huge question. Do you repair it or replace it? Then we'll dive into the air you're actually breathing. We're talking filters and air quality. After that, we'll get proactive with a maintenance checklist. I'll show you how to spot trouble before it starts. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a simple plan to make you a truly empowered homeowner.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, repair or replace. This is the decision that can really make or break your budget. So let's paint a picture that every homeowner absolutely dreads. A total system meltdown, right when you need it the most. I mean, this is a situation nobody wants to be in, right? The pressure is on, the house is getting hotter by the minute, and you have to make a major financial call, and fast. Do you take a chance on a big repair, or is it just time to bite the bullet and invest in a whole new system? It's a tough call for sure, but lucky for us, there's a really simple rule to help guide you. This right here is the $5,000 rule. It's an incredibly useful little tool designed to take all the emotion out of the decision and just focus on the raw numbers. The logic behind it is pretty simple. You really want to avoid pouring good money into a system that might be on its last legs anyway. Let's just walk through a quick example. So let's say your system is 10 years old, and a technician gives you a quote for a $600 repair. Okay, so you multiply the age, 10, by the cost, 600, and you get 6,000. Because that number is over the $5,000 threshold, the rule is pointing you towards replacement as the smarter long-term financial move. It's a super simple calculation that gives you a really powerful data point to work with. But here's a really crucial update. As this quote points out, with all the recent inflation, that 5K rule is probably looking more like a 6K or 7K rule these days. The main takeaway isn't the exact number itself, but the principle behind it. It's a flexible guideline, not some unbreakable law. You got to adjust it for today's costs. And of course, the rule is just a starting point, not the final word. You've also got to ask these other questions, like, is the system still under warranty? Because that could make a repair way more affordable. How much could you actually save on your energy bills with a newer, more efficient model? And this is a big one. Does it use an old, phased-out refrigerant like R22? If it does, any future repairs are just going to get more and more expensive. So we've covered the financial health of your HVAC system. Now let's talk about something even more important, your health. See, the most important job of your system isn't just heating or cooling. It's circulating the very air you breathe. And that brings us to filters and air quality. Just think about that for a second. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, considers the air inside our homes one of the top 5 biggest health risks. We're always worried about smog and outdoor pollution, but the real threat may actually be floating around in your living room. And this is exactly why your HVAC filter isn't just some random part. It is your absolute first line of defense. So what exactly are we up against here? It's called particulate matter. Some of it you can see, like dust bunnies floating around, but most of it is totally invisible. Pollen, pet dander, mold spores, even bacteria and viruses, all just hanging out in the air you're breathing right now. This is the stuff that's behind allergies and all kinds of respiratory issues. Now, to pick the right filter, you need to know about something called the MERV rating. It stands for Minimum Efficiency Reporting Value, which is a mouthful, I know, but it's really just a simple scale from 1 to 20. All you really need to remember is this. The higher the MERV number, the smaller the particles it can trap. It's that simple. This little table here gives you a perfect roadmap. MERV 1 to 4 filters, they offer just basic protection, mostly for your equipment. A MERV 8 is a really solid choice for most homes, grabbing that finer dust and even mold spores. But if you or someone in your family deals with allergies, or you just want seriously cleaner air, upgrading to a MERV 11 to 13 is where you'll see a huge difference. We're talking about capturing bacteria and even tiny smoke particles. Now, you've probably heard about HEPA filters, and you might be thinking, well, the highest must be the best. But here's a pro tip. For most home systems, HEPA filters are actually overkill. They can restrict airflow so much that they actually strain your unit. The EPA itself says that a filter in that MERV 7 to 13 range is really the sweet spot. It captures almost as much as a HEPA filter without choking your system. That's the perfect balance you're looking for. Okay, so you've picked out the perfect filter. Awesome! Now how do you protect the entire system? Let's get into proactive maintenance. We're going to use Hillside, Illinois, as our example because its climate, with those freezing winters and humid summers, is basically the perfect stress test for any HVAC unit. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? In a place with these dramatic seasonal swings, your HVAC system is working overtime all year long. That kind of extreme workload means that maintenance isn't just some luxury you can skip. It is an absolute necessity if you want to prevent breakdowns and make sure your system runs safely. You know, proper maintenance is really a partnership. There are simple, really important tasks you can do yourself, and then there are the deep dive inspections that you need a trained professional for. So let's break down who does what. All right, on your to-do list, the number one most important job is changing that filter every 1 to 3 months. Seriously. After that, just do a quick check of your outdoor unit to make sure it's not covered in leaves or debris, and then glance at your indoor vents to make sure they're not blocked by furniture. These simple steps take, maybe 10 minutes a month, but they have a huge impact on your system's efficiency and how long it'll last. A professional tune-up once a year is where the real deep cleaning and safety checks come in. A technician is going to inspect and clean the coils, check for dangerous refrigerant leaks, test all the electrical parts, and, most importantly, they'll perform critical safety checks, like making sure your furnace doesn't have any risk of carbon monoxide leaks. This service is really all about peace of mind. So proper maintenance is your best defense, but you also need to know what you're up against. Let's look at the early warning signs of trouble, and we'll focus on issues that are common in climates with 4 very distinct, very demanding seasons. These are the red flags you really need to keep an eye out for. Is your furnace hesitating or struggling to kick on in the middle of winter? Is your AC running constantly but just can't seem to cool the house down in July? Those are signs of strain. Keep an eye on your outdoor unit for any corrosion, especially from road salt. And always watch your utility bills. A sudden spike that you can't explain is often the very first sign that something's wrong. And here's the key thing to get. These failures are not random. They are the direct result of all that seasonal stress, that constant switch from battling extreme cold to fighting off extreme heat. Once you understand that connection, you know exactly what to look for as the seasons start to change. All right, we have covered a lot of ground, from making a really high-stakes financial decision all the way to the science of clean air. So let's pull it all together into a simple, actionable plan that transforms you from a reactive homeowner into a truly empowered one. This is it. This is your empowerment plan, broken down into 4 simple steps. Number 1, use the 5K rule as your logical guide for those big decisions. 2, choose a MERV 7 to 13 filter to get that perfect balance of clean air and system efficiency. 3, stick to a maintenance schedule, both the stuff you do and the annual pro visit. And 4, know those warning signs so you can jump on a problem before it becomes a full-blown crisis. So this is the question I want to leave you with. Your heating and cooling system is a complex, expensive, and absolutely vital part of your home. By taking these simple, proactive steps, you're not just avoiding repairs, you're protecting your investment, you're protecting your comfort, and you're protecting your family's health.